Welcome back, everyone. We're going to be solving LeetCode 1304, find n unique integers that sum up to 0. So we're given an integer n, and we need to return any array containing n unique integers such that they add up to 0. So example 1, we're given 5, so we need to return 5 numbers, and the sum needs to be 0. So their output, they give -7, -1, 1, 3, and 4. Now, if we go down to example 3, we can see what they return in the case of only n being 1, right? They just return 0. So that's going to be our base case for this. So let's write that. We'll say if n is equal to 1, we're just going to return an array with 0 in it. Now, what if it's not? What are we going to do? Well, they do say we can return any array as long as the letters or the numbers in it are unique, right? So why couldn't we just start out at make a range object, right? So start at 1 and go all the way up to, but not including n. So if we take example 1, say n is 5, right? Let's start at 1, 2, 3, 4, right? This is our range object. If we say for I in range n, this is what, for I in range 1 to n, right? We want these values. Okay, so if we just take those values, append them to an array, and then take the sum, right? Because these are only 4 values here. We need 5. Well, we could just append the negative sum of these values for our last value, and that'll give us our return array of unique values which do sum up to 0. So that's what we're going to do. Okay, so we handled our base case. Now we want to create an array. Now what are we going to do? Well, we're going to loop through for I in range. We're going to start at 1. And we're going to go all the way up to, but not including n. What are we going to do with these values? We are simply going to append them to our array. And then what are we going to do at the end? Well, we have to find the sum of all the values that are currently in our array, and then append the negative value of that sum as our last value for our array. So we will say array.append the negative sum of whatever is in our array currently, and then we can just return our array. So let's run this. Pass all 3 test cases, we'll submit. And we do pass, so let's go back to the description. What is the time complexity of this? Well, we've got one for loop, looping in n number of times, well, an n minus 1 number of times. So, and then we do have a sum object here, so that's going to be O of n as well. So it'll be O of n plus O of n, which simplifies down to an O of n time complexity. Now for the space complexity, we are only creating a extra space of n length, right? It's going to contain whatever our input value is, that many numbers inside of our array. So we can just say the length for this problem or this algorithm is going to be the length of whatever our return array is. And that'll do it for LeetCode 1304.